Welcome to Talking Point, folks. We're back and better than ever. Sean Michael Smallhead joined after what seemed like quite some time because, all the callings were asking for him. Where is he? Where is he? And then he teased you by going on AM Prime last week and yesterday and not coming on Talking Point set. But he's here. He's here, folks. And of course, I'm talking about Keaton Shaw. Good morning, Keaton.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning to all of you. It's good to be back. It is good to be back after a 3-week and 1 day, work to be done, stay away. So. No, and by the way, to the caller who expressed their concern, would I say concern, last week about, I hope he doesn't come back and say that he's married. Nah, not as yet.
there was a part of me that, wishes that could have happened because that would have made for a nice TV moment. But unfortunately, Mr. Shaw was actually busy with other things. He was not taking time off to go vacate all over the globe.
Yes, he's absolutely correct in what he's saying. As he mentioned, actually, 2 weeks ago, he has business to take care of. Last week was a busy week, and even yesterday was a busy day with CARICOM's 50th anniversary celebrations. I was at the press conference. So there is a lot to talk about. I will say I haven't missed much.
You haven't missed much?
No.
You haven't missed much?
Same old, yes.
Technically, folks, I have to agree with that with regards to the same old, but how we got all the way back to the same old. But anyway, we will eventually get his opinion on a lot of the things that happened over the course of his absence. But they had some stuff to happen yesterday, so let's kick off today's Daily Review. And the first thing that comes up, of course, school is out. You could tell by the reduced traffic on the roadways. And the SAA results were supposed to be out. And it's an interesting phenomenon. I do wonder if this is a sign of a TSCT problem, connectivity issues, or if this is a direct ministry problem, because parents and at times even staff apparently have been having issues connecting to the ministry's portal by which to access the results so you could get the results for your specific child or student, which I don't even know how to judge the situation, because I don't think I've ever had anything comparable to having this big exam that's important in my life. But I'm still a minor. I'm still 11, 12 years old, right? And the results are there, and it seems as though I just can't get the results.
Well, pressure is emphasized from parents onto children, actually. That is where most of the pressure comes from. Yes, students will be anxious as well, given all that they've worked for and all that they've prepared for. So to have delays for over an hour in trying to access the results is absolutely torturous. The thing is, this isn't necessarily something that is new with regards to accessing exam results. If we were to take a look at the regional exam through the Caribbean Examination Council, the CSEC or the CAPE exams, when students go to receive their results, it is similar issues. It takes a while because the website is overflowed with traffic that it actually causes it to crash. But that is precisely why this is a problem, because you have instances of that happening in the past from a regional level, and you know that heavy traffic will cause a website to actually go down very easily. The Ministry of Education should have put things in place in terms of investing in proper servers in order to allow for such traffic flow. You've had over 18,000 students sitting to write the exam, and that's the thing. You might have parents trying to log in on multiple devices in order to see how quick they'll get through and how easy they can access it. If easy is a word we can even use in terms of accessibility yesterday. So having to wait those hours to collect your results is absolutely torturous, even to the extent that principals didn't have a list. So even when you couldn't access it online and you went to your school to try and get your results from the principal, they themselves didn't have a list.
Because I think it sounds benign, right? Well, the results are what they are. It's just taking a little bit longer to get them. But to some extent, the anticipation for this day, you know, for a primary school student, you have worked what is at this point the majority of your life that you have good memory of on this one thing, which therein lies the question, should the essay not even exist? Because the importance put on it and the stress it could put on a student to have this one exam potentially define your entire childhood. And then just to hit this roadblock that you're not expecting, right? And of course, right, that's reasonable. Well, still have the results in the primary school, right? So you could physically access them if anything goes wrong with the portal. They don't have it. Of course, it comes back to the question during the pandemic, what if you just don't have connectivity? What are you supposed to do, right? But also, I mean, there's one instance where a child is weeping when they went to the school to try to get results. So we can't underestimate what it's like. Is this necessary? And I think it's a bit naive of the ministry to say, well, we'll put an online portal, right? It's not as though we have this great success with digital and information technology and communication technology with regards to our government services. So yeah, we're just going to do a thing.
You see, the thing is, nobody will ever underscore the torment that students will go through. However, I think it is also fair to point out in that same regard, the Ministry of Education didn't necessarily conceptualize this idea, but I will give them kudos. I think it is the direction to go. If we are pushing for digital transformation, Trinidad and Tobago, and if we're pushing for a more digitalized society, yes, collecting results online certainly is an avenue. But I would also agree with you in suggesting that if people are unable to do so, always having a plan B, which is the principals having a list, is also very much helpful. However, I think that going through with collecting results online, seeing your grades online, all well and good, but you have to ensure that you have the capability and the capacity to ensure that every year, when over 17,000 students are sitting the exams, that you are able to facilitate such. And you also have to have an understanding that, yes, whilst it does cost money, going forward, this is where we have to go, this is where we need to be. And, okay, 18,000 students wrote the exam, 36,000 devices are going to be logging on, or even more than that, even probably about 54,000, because you've got mother, father, child logging on to try and see if they can get their results.
And therein lies the importance of this topic. It's not just about SEA, but it's about our ability to implement this sort of technology. And I think one of the things we really need, I very much question the proficiency of the people involved. Yes, I get it. I don't expect government ministers to understand everything about IT technology, but are you getting the right advice? Do you have the right people involved at a technical level? If the guy that's running the cable is the only one that really has a clue, then we have problems, because you need somebody that could make sound decisions. And the thing with government services like this, I mean, you said it, CXC goes through this problem as well, right? And I'm sure that we could apply this lesson to other areas where the government is, you know, affording some service, right? And when they switch it on, there's going to be a rush. And perhaps, you know, by investing in infrastructure, it doesn't have to be Ministry of Education infrastructure. It could be government infrastructure, which could then be used to deal with these sorts of things where, you know, you're not going to have SEA results every day, every month, right? Every week. But you have the infrastructure now, so when you have these specific projects that you need it, you could apply it. But I guess that takes, you know, I mean, we do have a Ministry of Digital Transformation, but I don't really know what they're there for.
For my time off, I was able to have conversations with many people. I was able to meet many people, actually, and from what I understand, many a times sitting in our position, we may not actually see or everything, hear everything, or truly understand everything. But if what was told to me is truthful, it seems as though the Ministry of Digital Transformation is working very much hard, and the Honourable Minister Hasselbackers, he has quite a number of ideas that he is pushing to implement. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know when we're going to see the results.
Money could be one problem.
Money is certainly a factor, but what we are aware of is that digital transformation was supposed to be, I don't know if it still is, but was supposed to be one of the legacies of Dr. Keith Rowley's time as Prime Minister. That is when, of course, he decides, I've had enough of this.
Well, at this point, I just wish he'd pick one, because I don't know if he has enough budget to do more than one. But moving on, and so there's two things I want to touch on. One is the Secretary General's remarks as he's here, but also there's the SE results. So which one do you want to get into?
It's fine. Let's move forward with whatever you've decided is most appropriate at this time. I think given the time, we can speak about the United Nations for a moment.
Yeah,
and CARICOM, that is.
So, you know, the Secretary General, he was here in TNT yesterday. He gave a press conference. He had quite a bit to say. He gave some praise to our small two-island republic, implying very much that we seem to punch above our weight, or at least more so than we think here in TNT, over some of the issues that is important to CARICOM, like, I believe, financial security and food security, and I can't remember what the third one is. But one of the things that struck me, though, to me, one of the most important things that he said was his calls for help for Haiti. And it made me wonder, okay, I understand Haiti needs help, but where is that help really coming from? Because during the pandemic, when, you know, the latest rounds of anarchy kicked off, right, there was still some help going towards Haiti from CARICOM. CARICOM has never abandoned Haiti, but I do wonder at this point, how much does CARICOM have left? And if we should really be saying, well, you know, it's nice for you to say Haiti needs help, but are you telling us that we need to do more for Haiti, or does outside intervention more need to come in for Haiti?
It is both. It is both. The UN Secretary General, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, he's been advocating globally for efforts that are necessary to bring Haiti back to where it was, or at least to a position of stability. As we are aware, between 60 and 80% of Port-au-Prince is now run and controlled by armed gangs that actually, bullet for bullet, outweigh the police services in Haiti. I think the bigger issue is with respect to CARICOM and CARICOM's purpose, which is regional integration. It is precisely why he raised it yesterday. We are speaking about a 50th anniversary. We're speaking about CARICOM's goals. We're speaking about its purpose. And the biggest backing of CARICOM is regional integration, inclusion. What is CARICOM doing for Haiti? Haiti is a member of CARICOM. You know, Dr. Ariel Henry was there yesterday. He stood up along with other heads of states and other, government officials, posing with CARICOM members. What can CARICOM do for Haiti? The thing is, as much as aid is required for Haiti, if you take a look at the situation, a CARICOM member states now in a position to actually render the assistance that is required, from the sense that if we aren't able to actually handle or control our own affairs, given the instability globally, let's be honest with you. I think right now Tobago is very fortunate, right? Let's put it out there. We are very fortunate. The position that we're in, things are very bad, things are very difficult. Fortunately, if you were to compare TNT to other nations in the Caribbean or globally, you'd realize, hold up, things look a little brighter down here.
Especially globally.
The point I'm trying to make is, still, with all that, are we able to actually give Haiti the assistance that is necessary? If we are able to do so, what is causing the hesitation? Who is going to take the front? No, the chairman, the incoming chairman of CARICOM, which is, I believe, Dr. Roosevelt Scarrett, he's indicated that we're not abandoning you, Haiti. And we're promising you in the next 6 months we're going to do all our best and all our efforts. Haiti, you still have a friend in CARICOM. But as I've mentioned before, it's not specific only to CARICOM, it's globally. But given the fact that it is regional integration was the big thing behind CARICOM's purpose, it seems as though we've left Haiti behind.
Because at the end of the day, we could try to solve our regional crime issue, and a lot of that is the gun and drug smuggling. But if you leave Haiti in its state, you basically leave a chink in the armor where, yes, we could try to shore up ports of entry, etc., but if there's this one point in the region that's a major weakness, then eventually it will filter into the rest of the region. So to what extent now do we say, hey, our economic recovery plans need to be delayed just a little bit more? The flip side of that is, and I don't know, exactly how the situation with the gangs and the violence over there is disrupting the government and the ability of society to function, right? But I do know that depending on how chaotic it is, sometimes it's more than just a question of money. Because in the, I believe, late 90s now, when Somalia was disintegrating and the UN was sending food, the various warlords and factions were intercepting the food shipments and intercepting the aid packages and taking it for themselves. So I'm not necessarily saying that that will happen, but to some extent, we could be sending money, but the money might not really be having the impact because it can't directly deal with the problem, or the problem might be, making the ability of just more resources without more specific help, right, might undercut the effectiveness. Has Haiti asked for, in particular, security help? Of course, that comes with the caveat of that's a very complex request. That's a very complex task. And even if Haiti asks for it and we attempt to do it, that is the entirety of CARICOM. It might blow up in our faces if it's not handled well.
You see, the thing is, put it this way. No country would want to put its troops in harm's way unnecessarily. Quite frankly, if I were to say it in the most plain words, countries are going to be asking, we're putting our troops on the ground in a hell of a situation. What are we going to gain from this?
Well, not just that, but Haiti would have to have specific requests and implement specific policies, because it's not a military situation. Technically, it's still, an internal one, because it's not a foreign aggressor or civil war. It's gangs, right?
Which, to a certain extent, is a civil war, Sean.
On a practical level, I understand you, but on a legal level, right, to then bring in foreign troops to deal with local gangs would be a bit of a controversial...
So then what do you think Haiti's asking for when they have specifically requested foreign aid in terms of security to try and defend itself?
I mean,
what do you think they're asking for then?
I'm not entirely sure. It could be equipment, it could be resources, it could be personnel.
Which is all military, as you just mentioned.
Which is all military, yes, if it's security. I'll say this, I do not ascribe by the philosophy. I understand, yes, why are we putting our people in harm's way? But then it goes back to the fact that, look, globalization is not just an economic thing. Or rather, these things like war and gang violence and crime, they could have the same economic impact and the same impact, right, on a global village as economies of scale and trade and specialization and all of that. So the irony is it's not just about being altruistic. There is, long-term incentives for the rest of CARICOM to ensure that Haiti does not implode or become a failed state because of Haiti is almost like the reverse of the saying God is a Trinity. Whether it's the earthquakes or just whatever natural disaster, hurricanes, or now the gang violence. So it's not just to say that this could cause Haiti's downfall, but we can't take it for granted that while they're going through this, something else might not come and hit them, and would they be able to sustain that blow? It behooves CARICOM, if they want to see a stable region, to ensure that its members are all stable. And Haiti's population alone, it might not be as bad as if Venezuela collapsed, but for the region, the question would be just as severe. And the world is going through a similar question with regards to Russia and Ukraine right now. So I don't know, this is the flip side, I don't know to what extent we could expect international help. And to some extent, this is a challenge now to CARICOM. Can we, what's the point of coming together if we can't help each other to resolve, at least for the most part, not necessarily completely,
but your entire
our problems?
You've just made the arguments on your entire part. You're asking, I don't know to what extent we could expect the world to come and help Haiti. But how many years has it been, Sean? How many years has it been? And that's the thing. Take a look at the history of Haiti. Once the richest nation in the Western Hemisphere. Mm-hmm. Haiti has been through a lot, even with respect to its politics. You always hear the terms Papa Doc and Baby Doc. So take a look at Haiti's history. Take a look at where it was to where it is now, and Haiti is one unfortunate, depressing story.
Yes.
As to where it once was to where it is now.
Folks, we have to end it there. But I will just close with actually quoting the Prime Minister when he said, Haiti, we're sorry. And hopefully we'll be able to do as much as we can, as soon as we can, to help that part of the Caribbean. Folks, we have to take a break. When we come back, we will be welcoming a special guest to speak on local government elections. Hot topic. Coming up to it in 6 weeks. Stay tuned. This is Talking Point on WESN. We'll be right back.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship McLean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit?
Yes.
What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive, it is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole, is for all of us in public.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
The best birthday gifts are at dbesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 32DBEST to order. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Site, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., only on WESN, Content Capital.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
people really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit?
Yes.
What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive, it is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole, is for all of us in public.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Welcome back to Talking Point, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to apologize for the long delay. We were sorting out some things, but we do have with us, as I mentioned before the break, a special guest. He is the political leader of the PEP. He is Philip Edward Alexander. You might know him for his commentary, but also now, I guess you could say, he is most famously the person that is standing firm on his own 2 feet, forging his path in the upcoming local government elections. Good morning, Mr. Alexander.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning to your viewers and everybody watching around the world.
Good morning, Mr. Alexander. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Mr. Alexander, how is Philip Edward Alexander different to any other politician that Trinidad and Tobago has been, I suppose, blessed with over the last few decades?
Probably because I'm the most reluctant politician of all. Every single morning I wake up, I have to convince myself to still do this. This is not my first love or my second love. This is not what I want to be doing with my life. I am only in this to try and fix my country. My country's in a mess. Politics, as usual, is responsible for that. You'll hear me refer to things like the contract mafia that's responsible for looting the country, and they own and operate these politicians. Philip Edward Alexander and the Progressive Empowerment Party are the only political, is the only politician and the political organization that is disconnected from politics as usual.
You said disconnected from politics, but how connected is PEP with the people? It seems to be a one-man party with you as the face of it. It seems at times that you're the only member of the PEP.
Progressive Empowerment Party actually contested the 2 by-elections that were held, and we beat the PNM in Davis South. We are practically the 3rd largest party in the country, for want of a better term. We have the largest membership. We could challenge the UNC in short order. It's a one-man show because in Trinidad they kill politicians, they kill activists who stand up against the contract mafia. I want to refer to Sterling Richardson, I want to refer to Dana Sitahal, I want to go as far back as Jean Myers. People are terrified of their government. Government could use the power of state to destroy your business, destroy your job, destroy your life. We have some of the best people with us. If you visit www.21policies.com, you will realize that Philip Edward Alexander is the last thing from a one-man show. We have 61 candidates in this local government election. We would have had more if the EBC and this nomination-based system wasn't as corrupt and as ridiculous as it is, or that the PNM didn't have advance notice so they could have screened all their candidates, prepared all their money, get all their shirts printed, book NAPA, coordinate the caterers. We had 2 weeks. So Trinidad is a ridiculous country to invite people yourself. If I call you today and you agree with every single word I say, you go home and you talk to your wife will tell you she's not interested in you being in politics because you put your life in danger.
Well, I will admit I have heard with some of my friends that very same sentiment expressed, but I do have to ask, is that why you have only looked to ally yourself with the farmers, which was technically they started off as a lobby group, as an interest group trying to lobby for agricultural interests, and you rejected the call from other political parties to form a coalition. Famously, of course, the last coalition did beat the PNM and well, the first go-around, and formed the People's Partnership government, subsequently to lose in the follow-up election. Is it that you have decided that it's not worth it because look what happened to the COP? Why am I going to now take the people who are supporting me and following me that want to see change and walk into the lion's den and perhaps find all of the work that I've done so far be negated as it is taken over by the political machine of you know, the ever-going, you know, what is the pre-existing political machinations?
Well, to answer all of that, I'm going to give WESN some information that I was withholding, but I'll share it with you all this morning. Not only did the UNC reach out to me, before the UNC reached out to me, a well-known woman in the industrial sector, Chamber of Commerce company, and a family member, a Syrian family member, reached out to me and made a very big offer for me to come over to the PNM. I am highly respected politically. All of the political parties use our ideas and our plans, and they know that if we got into office that we would fix stuff. I was given a very good offer. Now that I see that $500,000 check for Studial Surface, I want to be able to say that I was offered a very tempting financial offer that if I was somebody who was in financial need, I might have grabbed at it. The UNC also reached out. The reason we're not interested in either is, as I said at the beginning, I'm not in politics for office, I'm not in politics for a job, I'm not in politics for a shortcut, I'm not in politics for a contract, I'm not in politics for blue lights, I'm in politics to fix my country, and I do not believe that the PNM and the UNC are capable of fixing the country because they take bags of money from people who manipulate Trinidad and Tobago's economy to their interests. They're not interested in Trinidad, they're not interested in PNM or UNC, they're not interested in Indian and African vote. They're interested in power so they could take money. This is a country that has companies that cannot explain their wealth, that cannot explain their sudden meteoric rise. We have companies in this country with 50 and 100,000 members, staff that nobody understands where those contracts came from. We have businessmen in Trinidad and Tobago that in short order owns 1,000 properties, and that's why the price of rent is so high and the cost of homes so high. We have a lot of things to address and you're not going to fix it, joining the PNM or the UNC. I told Marsha Walker when she told me, come with me, we will fix it from the inside. I say, Marsha, you can't go on the inside of the UNC. Have the contract mafia pay for your jerseys and your truck and your campaign. And when you get in office and they come to claim what they want in return, tell them no. You'll end up in that cemetery.
Mr. Alexander, rather than go to 21policies.com, how is the PEP and this alliance with the Reunited Farmers Party a new alliance of ideas and solutions? So share with us some of your policies and ideas this morning.
Just today we put out a public release, and I will forward it to Sean, who is now my ASN contact. We put out a release this morning about food self-sufficiency. We learned during the lockdown and the global pandemic that countries that are not able to feed themselves and feed their family, feed their citizens, are at risk. Because if during the lockdown, if things had gotten worse and shipping was interrupted and the food chain was interrupted, what would Trinidadians have done? 90% of our food is imported. What would we have done? Would we have run to the farmers and begged for Sahib and Baji? What would we have done? Our flour mill silos could have been emptied when the Ukraine war started. What would we do? There is no plan. The Progressive Empowerment Party and the Farmers Reunited Alliance are calling a press conference this week outside NAMDEFCO headquarters. NAMDEFCO is charging people $20 cover charge for going to our market. Where in the world have you ever heard such nonsense? This forcing people to go and shop in Massey and True Value. A Progressive Empowerment Party government guaranteed to solve radial larceny, the never-ending problem of not having water to wet our crops in a country that has a rainforest climate. It is a joke. We have 90,000 acres of fertile farmland lying idle. We have 30,000 registered farmers begging for land to grow food. But we're spending billions of foreign exchange that we don't have, importing food, and we could get our food grown here for 10% of that money. It's ridiculous. That is a PEP policy. You asked me, tell me if I can continue, because I'll give you policy after policy.
No, well, I was about to say, go on, because I'd love to hear more policies. I mean, beyond that, I was just going to say, I know we've already spoken that there's no intention of joining any other party or forming an alliance or coalition. You've made that absolutely clear. But how, I mean, do you expect to win an election and actually, be able to implement such policies without actually having to join one of the other parties?
By talking to Trinidadians, by going to them and telling them that race voting is destroying your children's future. You cannot vote Indian because you're Indian and African because you're African. You have to vote for people who will run the country properly. I want to invite you and the whole of Trinidad and Tobago to go down to Mokorapo Road this morning and stand up between Fatima College and Mokorapo Secondary and explain to me why one is a prestige school and one is a failed school. Explain that to me. If they have the same curriculum, if it's the same CFC exam, if it's the same teacher training college, if it's the same Ministry of Education, if it's supposed to be the same funding, then why is Fatima College Prestige and Mokorapo Secondary a failed school? And why are they using different books if it's the same curriculum? Tell me we are not deliberately trying to create a two-tiered society through our education system. A Progressive Empowerment Party government would save that poor woman who told me that she drives from Sangre, she has to travel from Sangre Grande every morning to bring her child to Southeast Port of Spain Secondary. That is insanity. A Progressive Empowerment Party government will abolish the FCA, which is the leading cause of mental illness in this country. The FCA serves no purpose and destroys children's lives, mashes up families. We will abolish the SCA, make all schools 10-year schools, give children a grade point average, and judge the performance of teachers and principals on the performance of the children and their grade point average. We will make it possible for principals and vice principals to have tax-free status and salaries equivalent to a senator, so that they will have something to defend and something to aspire to. So that if they lose that job for failure to secure the children to a proper education, they will have only themselves to blame. There are ways to fix Trinidad and Tobago. Capture, hold, treat, distribute is the way to save water, catch the water that we get from the sky for free as rain. We wash it away into the sea. Egypt won't stand up on anything that we call a river. And watch and see what it does. Its job is to capture the bounty of rain and throw it in the sea. And then we spend $1 billion a year desalinating water. I mean, there's nobody as stupid as a Trinidadian government if they think that that makes sense. If that has not been addressed as yet, there's nothing as stupid as a Trinidadian government. We are living in the middle of the Sahara importing sand.
But, well, Mr. Alexander, so we have issues affecting the country. One of the things that I have been told more than once in conversations is that professional young people, a lot of people with the skills that you're calling for to help deal with these issues, they're not interested in politics for the bacchanal. Now, you managed to secure an alliance with the Reunited Farmers Party, which I think is good for the agricultural issues that we face, for the food security issues that we face. Is there anything else on the horizon to try to attract other groups where they would have the expertise, whether it is in education, whether it is in public utilities or public works, engineering and what have you, to try to inspire or attract the technical people, not the politicians who want to hear the sound of their own voice, but the people with the skills to actually fix the problem, to encourage them, hey, I am not the same old. I'm actually trying to provide a proper platform where you could do the work and not get sidelined and caught up in all of the bubble and the politics.
As a correct statement, I want to tell you two things. One, the Progressive Empowerment Party has a massive following. That is why I'm on your show this morning. We have a massive following. We have the biggest following on social media. They're fighting us hard on that now. The farmers, the United Farmers Alliance, the reason we joined with them is because their hands are clean and their hearts are pure. We will join with anybody whose hands are clean and hearts are pure, who are courageous and patriotic, civic-minded, want to stand up for the country. We work well with the Petrotrin workers, the TSPT workers, the water workers. In Andalusia, in Maravan, a fellow named Gale called us, and I did a video with Mr. Gale, and Mr. Gale showed me a rotting pole that was collapsed in Andalusia. Andalusia is a place where houses sell for 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. It's a big short area. And he showed me this pole, and he told me, he said, Philip, I call Embert, I call Kamla, nobody could come and move this rotten pole. I made him a deal. I said, I will get this pole removed for you from this location in 24 hours. You promised me that you will endorse the Progressive Empowerment Party. He said, I absolutely guarantee you that. The pole was removed within 24 hours. He's endorsing us today at 11 o'clock.
Well, Mr. Alexander,
we work well. When you hear Philip will fix it, it's not me going out there and fix the pole. It's not me going out there and fix the water. It's not me going.
I think you need to fix TSTT's connectivity issues, Mr. Alexander.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, we got you back.
The things that we fix, the things that are fixed, that we champion, that cause people to say Philip will fix it, it's not me moving the pole, it's not me fixing the road, it's not me fixing the water. But the workers up to management level in all of the public sector want to work with me. The police service, the army, the teachers, the nurses, I have no problem when I reach out to people to say, listen, we have somebody on a chair in the general hospital, they're there 48 hours now, they came in there with heart pains. Reach out to them. We get nurses, we get doctors, we get orderlies to address. They want to work with the Progressive Empowerment Party. Nobody in this country stepped out to have a job and then deliver so badly as it's delivered now. But we have a management problem from government down. People in these hospitals are watching their seniors as part of one big theft enterprise. We spend $5,000 million every year on our public health. The people, the cancer patients in St. James get to wait 9 months to a year. We had a situation where we called out all the elderly for cataract surgery. They dilated all of their pupils to prepare them for surgery to remove their lenses and replace the lenses. And then have to send all the elderly home and tell them the lenses were stolen. They have to get new lenses. They'll call them back for an appointment. There is an insanity in the way this country is run. And the Progressive Empowerment Party is willing to challenge that insanity. People are realizing.
Mr. Alexander, you are a good, a decent salesman, fair enough. Are you expecting all of this to translate into votes on election day?
I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. You just cut me when I was going to say something. And then you call me a salesman. I'm not a salesman. Pete Rowley's a salesman. Pete Rowley and Fitzgerald Hines told black people if they follow them that they will take care of them. Balize House has been the cause of black Trinbagonians suffering more than anything else in the world. Right now, black Trinbagonians have the highest numbers of heart disease in the Western world. Young black males dying from KFC and McDonald's diet in Trinidad. We have more people losing limbs and eyesight from diabetes from the soft drink diet that we have in Trinidad and Tobago because a bottle of water is $5 and a bottle of Coke is $3. The country is deliberately mismanaged. I am not a salesman, sir. I am a citizen, a civic-minded, patriotic citizen that is brave enough to step to my uncle and my auntie that financing these jokers in the PLM and the UNC and have them riding your family back. I would like to fix it, and I'd like you to help me do that.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Let me ask you about this is all well and good. What about public office reform and electoral reform? Any plans for that?
Absolutely. We just went through a nomination process that makes no sense. The government just made about $800,000 in deposit. It costed them about $50,000 to staff all those nomination day offices. To have people running around like headless chickens for 8 hours to get nominated. In a democracy, why we didn't have a nomination week? Why does everything in Trinidad and Tobago have to run like a ghetto, like a failed state? Why does everything have to be militarized? Why do you feel like to stand to the government, you get shot by government law enforcement? You live in that country. You are on media right now. Thank God for Louis Lithing. He's a salesman like me. Louis Lithing is a next problem solver. Louis Lithing solved the problem of traffic on Wrightson Road, Arapita Avenue, Western Main Road. You could have left your home in Diego Martin at 5 to 8 and reach Port of Spain at 8 o'clock. And the business community mash up that plan because they say people not being held for ransom anymore in the traffic, so they can't sell them bra and panty. This is the reality of your country. After we come off this show, after you bring other politicians to talk nonsense and stunt for the people who watching them, knowing that they fail, Griffith, Kamala, Rowley, all of them, who are only interested in the life that they live in, the car that they drive in, and who blowing smoke up their rear. You know that, I know that, everybody in Trinidad knows that. So what it is we selling them? We telling them a man, Philip Edward Alexander, who people are growing more and more to realize, understands how the country should run, how it is run, and how to fix it. He is surrounded by good people. Make no mistake. You can't nominate 61 people on nomination day in this failed system. Try to get 61 checks from a bank for $2,000 now. Can't get that from a bank in 24 hours. And see if you don't have to send people to 15 branches of the same bank. The country is set up to fail, to facilitate some corrupt politicians who are the puppets of the contract mafia. We have had $3 trillion. Do you know what $3 trillion is? $3 trillion passed through this country. Find it for me now. Find it for me. $3 trillion passed through this country and nothing works. This morning, your road is crap. You have no water in your house. I'm willing to bet you're bathing a bucket or a water tank. The entire system is set up to frighten and scare you out of your wits so that you work hard whole day and hustle to buy a bread. It takes a public sector worker 2 hours of work to buy a bread in this country. In the United States of America, you can work for 1 hour minimum wage and eat 10 meals. Here, you can't eat one. This is our reality. You have an opportunity. There are a lot of people who stand up in banks who are making billions of dollars every year in profit that are getting robbed outside the bank, and the bank can put a minimum wage security guard by the ATM machine to make sure people get from the ATM machine to the car. This is insane. And we are allowing all of this to happen. A progressive empowerment party government will institute financial service regulations to end the rapacious fees the bank's charging. Why are you talking to me here? The money in your bank account being depleted because they're taking your money just for holding it. They're doing finance, money warehousing now. You don't get no interest on your money, but they're lending out your money and making big money on it, and they keeping that.
Mr. Alexander, my apologies for having to interrupt. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but I will invite you again.
I know we will run out of time. You know, we're always going to run out of time.
Yeah, always. But we have a lot more to get into.
Sorry?
We have a lot more to get into, actually, a lot more, especially with your 21 policies. I'm glad we were able to get in a few this morning, but I will invite you again to further discussions.
But I want to tell you this, right? and take my stupid advice. You want WESN to become a player in the media. You want people to tune in. Cancel the next show you have and let this continue, because I bet you people are tuning in to see this, and if they don't hear it now, other people will send them the link and they'll watch that. Paul Richards at Power 102 is going to have a foolish debate between Gary Griffith and David Abdullah that nobody interested in seeing. But if Philip Alexander was able to debate Gary Griffith on his ridiculous track record, they will break the internet. That's where you need to be playing as journalists. You need to speak truth to power now. When you ask me about why I do this, you need to decide why you're a journalist and get in the game, because the country that you're in is the Titanic and it's sinking fast. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, sir. Wishing you all the very best, Philip Edward Alexander, joining us on Talking Point this morning. Fair point. If we can actually try and organize a debate, which I will say we have been working on, it's very difficult to actually get politicians who want to stand up on a political platform to actually come and debate one another. Very, very difficult. But your suggestion certainly has been one that has been received retroactively, as we have been working on that. Thank you very much, sir. Wishing you all the best, and we look forward to future discussions.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now break for WSN's News on the Hour. When we return, we'll open up the phone lines where you, the viewer, can contribute to the conversation this morning. We'll be right back after this.
Here is the WESN News on the Hour. I am Sira Ali. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Central Bank worker prevented from running as a candidate for the UNC in the local government elections. THA selects new chief administrator. 2 men were gunned down in separate incidents. And internationally, travel chaos plagues U.S. airports on the eve of the 4th of July. Now for the details. Opposition Senator Jayanti Lakshmi described the central bank's policy hypocritical, disproportionate and nonsensical as it relates to the attempt to prevent an employee to run as a candidate for the UNC in the upcoming local government elections. The central bank chauffeur received an injunction to stop him from being fired for being a local government election candidate. Lyndon Digans is the UNC's candidate for Malabar North for the August 14th election. A new chief administrator has assumed duties within the Tobago House of Assembly. After several weeks of remarks by the Prime Minister regarding the delay in the appointment of a chief administrator, the THA made the announcement. The post will be held by Mrs. Denise Toby Kwashi, who will serve as the acting chief administrator. She assumed office Monday, 3rd of July. 2 men were gunned down in separate incidents on Sunday night. The first shooting took place around 10:15 p.m. in Aruka. Jamari Warwood, 24, of Bonnet, Aruka, was walking from 7th Avenue to his home on 6th Avenue, Phase 1, when a silver Nissan V14 vehicle pulled up alongside him and one of its occupants pointed a gun and opened fire on him. The suspects then drove off. Warwood was taken to the Arima Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Internationally, travel chaos is plaguing the U.S. airports on the eve of Independence Day, with more than 100 million Americans under extreme weather warnings. A BBC report states that more than 1,400 flights were delayed or cancelled on Monday morning. This follows one of the busiest air travel weekends on record. Sunday saw the highest number of passengers ever screened at the U.S. airports. Severe storms threaten a swath of the eastern U.S., while the south and west continue to bake in a heat wave. Well, that's News to the Hour on WESN. I am Sarah Ali. Thanks for watching.
As Kevin Hart would say, damn! why we have so much minors out on the streets. There's an after-school program happening there.
Side women, don't give up. You know, you can become queen one day.
Those companies who are currently looking for their money that they deposited in the Silicon Valley Bank, it's not there. ChatGPT is basically the start of Terminator. Our relationship with the colonial powers is like a relationship with a little bit of abuse that people like to stay in. And we remember how that was. Put in $100 and later tonight, you'll get back 3,000. I promise you. I promise you not. Did you rent an accent while you were across there?
When you're in the proximity of Donald Trump, somehow you adopt his aura.
First of all, I thought the $200 would be more than enough. It's $200.
As a goat farmer, I had 3 goats. Yeah, 3 goats and 1 cow. You know the name?
No, I don't.
Right, Messi, LeBron, and Cristiano Ronaldo. And the cow name Haaland.
I love Trinidad and Tobago, you know.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces flagship MacBean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
Welcome back to Talk About, ladies and gentlemen. Now is the time we open up the phone lines here for you, the viewer, to call in and have your say. The phone line should be up on your screen there, the one line. So, folks, just please remember to try and be as efficient as possible with your points. If you have multiple points, even more so, and mute your television when you call in.
All right, okay, so Mr. Alexander's actually agreed to stay for phone calls with us. We're just trying to get him back onto the Zoom platform. Philip Edward Alexander is staying for calls whilst we're working on that. So let's take this caller from Pity Valley. Good morning.
Good morning, Sean and Keaton. Keaton, welcome back.
Thank you.
Keaton and Sean, in my humble opinion, that interview with Mr. Alexander was a political rant to me. The problem I have when politicians being interviewed, he said that the PNM offered him a huge sum of money to come over to the PNM. And if he was in financial problems, the offer was so good, it would be tempting to take. The problem with that now, that is his words. I don't know if that is true. The defendant now can't defend themselves. If you interview the PNM, I'm sure they will say that is not true. So people come and say things and you can't challenge them there if it's truth. That is the problem I have when people come and talk. They could just say what they want with not being challenged. I can't know if that is true. That is my point this morning. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So caller, listen, whilst you've raised a fair point in an individual not being able to defend themselves, we must also understand this is something that happens all across the board, and I'm not making an excuse. But even if you're saying it's a political rant, we've had many politicians on this program, on this station, including members of the PNM, who have gone on rants. They're entitled to do so. They're allowed to speak their minds. They're allowed to say things. Yes, we will challenge them, but we are also allowed to listen to them and hear them out. And Mr. Alexander has every single right to express himself, his thoughts and his opinions. Of course, we always just ask that we always do so with a certain level of decorum. Mr. Alexander, you're back with us? Mr. Alexander, are you with us?
Just check to see if you're muted on your end, sir.
All right,
we have him, but...
Yeah. So we're trying to get Mr. Alexander back on with us. We have a caller on the line with us. Hello, good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms.
Morning.
Sasha. Welcome back. Sean and Philip Alexander, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to touch on something I've seen on the news this morning, and it has to do with campaign finance. And my take on it, because I'm seeing Nutromix basically telling the nation they're reducing their price on flour. The owner of that business is alleged is a known financer of the ruling party. And the fact that he reducing a national flour in a position can reduce and they raising prices, is that a strategy of financing an election campaign? Is that price reduction going to be short-term or long-term? That is the taste of the pudding enough to see if it's long-term. Because I can understand how national flour mills increasing prices and Nutromix all of a sudden responding to a platform statement by the political leader and a couple of those in the UNC. That is one. The other thing is I'm touching on is the performance of the police. I'm really, really annoyed at what I'm seeing. And I have to put in a national award for the Hunters Association, because it appears that the police have usurped the responsibility. The fire service have usurped the responsibility. The defense force have usurped the responsibility for the hunters and farmers. That thing. Every time somebody goes missing, these people basically comes out in a positive way, either finding the body or locating. So that tells me where the TTPB's actions are and the activity, and if they're really protecting and serving. And the least one of my contribution today, and I'm coming out now,
very quickly,
the EMBD recusal. And one of the appeal court judges are trying to find out all over the place if that person has any familiar relationship to a former MP Edward Brewer in the PNM. That's all I have to say. That is a connection I'm trying to find out.
All right, thank you very much, caller, for your contribution. Do have a good day. Just bear in mind, folks, that we only have the one line working this morning. Maybe we'll have to get Mr. Alexander to try and fix that as well for us. Mr. Alexander, if you can hear us, the very first caller, he was suggesting that you went on a political rant this morning. Furthermore, he's stating that the allegations you made about a very healthy financial benefit if you were to join the PNM, that offer being made by somebody. You're stating words, you haven't called any names, and an individual now wouldn't be able to defend themselves.
Well, if I didn't call any names, then there's no need for anybody to defend themselves. That caller, whoever he is, know that if I were to join the PNM tomorrow, if I was to show up on a PNM platform in a red shirt, he will bend down and touch his forehead to the ground and say, well, yes, we win forever. I have no reason to make any statements other than the truth. I was one of the first people that transformed the limping PNM under the People's Partnership when I joined them in their round table. Nobody was taking them seriously before for Section 34. When I joined, other people came on board. And I know my role in the politics. But I also understand the corruption in this PNM government. And that caller needs to understand it's not now people trapping slaves for massa. It wasn't like people went into Africa to trap slaves. He needs to open his mind to the reality of Trinidad and Tobago. Go in the grocery, watch the price of the food, and watch his salary, and tell me the disconnect between the cost of living and real wages in Trinidad and Tobago. And until we have that conversation, Trinidad used to be the third wealthiest nation in the Western world. Now everybody's suffering, everybody catching. You used to be able to be a plumber or a tailor and buy a house in Trinidad and Tobago. You could be a mid-level bank manager now and can't afford to buy a house. Where's the reality of our economy? How is the economy being managed? Our healthcare is a joke. A bulb blow in the MRI machine and spawn a whole MRI industry all over Trinidad and Tobago. They have private MRI, but MRI in the public hospitals can't work.
We have a call.
Everything.
We have a caller, Mr. Alexander, from Glencoe. So, caller, good morning.
Hi.
Morning, caller. You on the air?
Can you hear me?
You on the air?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Mr. Alexander something. What does he think of the EMA and Town and Country? He has to think very highly of them because he gets permission where no permission is allowed, non-stop. I would love him to have a meeting with them on your TV and for them to explain to the public how he gets plans approved.
I'm sorry, caller, is there something specific in relation to the EMA?
No, let him ask that question. Let him ask that question too.
Okay.
Let him ask that question too. That is what the contract mafia are going to do. When I hand him a $10 and a phone card and send him to attack Philip Alexander, you ask me why we don't have all of the big people standing up and talking publicly because of that, because of numbskulls like him from Glencoe sitting down on his bed in his drawers, taking a phone card from the contract mafia to call and attack Philip Alexander.
All right, Mr. Alexander, we have a call on the line with us from Pitty Valley. Good morning.
Keaton, I don't normally like to call back, but Mr. Alexander still didn't answer the question, who gave him the money from PNM?
No, wait.
Yeah.
Slow your roll, friend. Nobody ain't give me no money. You sat me down over a nice cup of coffee in a very well-known Syrian establishment and told me it could be worth my while. No, nobody ain't give me no money. Philip won't need no money from nobody. I get tired of that one.
All right, caller, thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
Well, the phone lines are open. Call in and join us. Mr. Alexander is taking your questions from the public. We have a call on the line.
You can ask any question.
We have a call on the line with us from Digger Martin.
Oh, hi, Keaton. How are you going? Good morning.
Good morning.
Sean, hi.
Morning.
I totally agree with Mr. Alexander that this place is set up to fail. Every day I hear the words, Trinidad is the place where dreams go to die. More of our friends are migrating. 2 weeks ago, a couple left for Sweden, another young couple left for Japan, and I've said it 100 times. This government spent millions of taxpayer dollars to educate young people who were supposed to return to solve what we know as the wicked problems to attain SDGs. More than a decade later, nada. So what he is saying is correct. I'm sure and I'll get back to the affirmative action another day in the week. Thanks.
Okay, caller.
Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Alexander, that caller commenting on our issue of the brain drain.
If you leave the phone lines open long enough, you will get a 95% call rate in support. Yes, the contract mafia right now sending out texts. I know because I handle communication for Gary Griffith. I handle communications for Jerry Hadid. I handle communication for Bassam Barrett. And I'll tell you how it's being done right now. Right now, they are sending out messages to their people. Go to WESN and call and say this. It's called talking points. And they send them a digital phone card. So they could sit down on their bed in the drawers and make a call. Right,
Alexander, we have a caller. We have a caller on the line.
Hello, good morning, caller from San Fernando.
Hey, morning, Keaton. Morning, Sean.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Alexander.
Morning.
Mr. Alexander, you hearing me?
Yes, I am.
I take the liberty of calling you Philip. Now, hear this, Philip.
Everybody does.
Now, I am one of the people in this country that want change and willing to accept change. And I think in terms of you on the ground, a lot of people don't know that Gary Griffith talks a talk, but you are on the ground. A lot of people don't, and I don't think Keaton and Sean understand where you are on the ground. But Philip, let me say this to you.
I actually do, but...
Your rant, and the caller said it right, you come across as if you're ranting. And I think that is a turn off to some people. You see what they talk about, the man in his drawers? Those are the things that some of us don't want to hear. We want to hear the issues. You bring across the issues, well, Philip, but we don't want to hear the rant. And as a communication person, so firstly, as a communication person, you should understand what I'm saying. And I wish you all the best because we really need change.
Don't come off the call. I want you to stay there so I can answer. You're willing to stay there and answer and be answered?
What? Is the caller there? Actually, the caller...
Mr. Alexander, we have to let the caller go. You can answer. They will listen off air, but we have to let them go.
Okay,
So the next call
I am
can
on
come in.
WESN. I am on WESN this morning. If the Tobago Sugarcane Station called me to do an interview, I did. But I'm not on CNC3. I'm not on TV6. Ask Amga why. Ask Amga why Gary gets CNC3 and not me. There is something called shock doctrine in politics. And while that call is correct, I don't want to be talking about people saying on their bed drawers. But I promise you this, they're going to cut that clip out of this interview on WESN, and they're going to get 250,000 views. Why? Because we use something called counter shock. And I come and I step to them. And I expose the fact that the media in Trinidad and Tobago is a next mafia. And while the journalists and the hard-working technicians in the media want to interview Philip Edward Alexander, I have been interviewed and the interviews never make it past the editor's floor. Fellas like Samson Nanton and them are paid big money to be the media police, to keep people who are speaking truth to power in this country from speaking it. But social media works on counter shock. And that is why I have the largest following on social media of any politician. They're even fighting that. They're trying to limit my pages so that we can't broadcast. And the caller asked about something else, and I wanted to tell him, when he talked about being on the ground, no other politician gets things fixed like I do. And I want him to understand that long before there was a political party on all those media shows, and very parliamentary, and while people may not want to hear the rant, when I was standing up in Paria, it is my ranting for 24 hours that put those Paria divers on the global stage. Not just Trinidad. People all over the world talking about the 4 Paria divers that were murdered in Trinidad and Tobago because of Philip Edward Alexander. 2 people get injured yesterday in Point Lisa. Does it make news? No. A man dead in whatever Nikwan madness. Where that is.
Mr. Alexander, I'm sorry for having to interrupt you, sir. We do have a call on the line with us from Shogonas.
Sure.
Yes?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Alexander has listed all the wars which we all know in Trinidad. One caller called it rant. What I would like to know is how they intend to deal with these problems. And that would something I might be able to do on this time you have. But it should be on our website where people can go and look at it. The one thing I heard they're going to change in the speech was they're going to put a 10-year school. I'm not sure how that would work. Any questions or clarification?
Could you just repeat the last part about you're not sure what is going to work?
10-year school.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Well, if you would like more information, Mr. Alexander has actually stated early on in the interview that you can go to 21policies.com to see a list of those 21 policies for change that he wishes to bring and will bring to Trinidad and Tobago if elected. Caller on the line with us again from Pitty Valley. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Alexander. I want to tell you very respectively, I call this program from since when they started, years now. I contribute on all different topics. So if I disagree with you this morning, it's nothing personal that I disagree with you, sir. And I don't be in my drawing room with my jockeys, and no PNM person send phone cards to me to call this program, because I've been calling this program years now. Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, caller. I just want to say that we got word from the bosses we could go an extra 10 minutes, so folks, don't be discouraged if you want to call in. We have time. So please call. You know, you have access now to somebody that is, you know, at the head of the campaign.
I want to answer the questions. I want to answer the questions.
Go ahead, Mr. Alexander. Go ahead.
Mr. Pitty Valley, you have time to call and attack me, but the country is sinking around you. You and your family are going to suffer and die ignoble deaths in Trinidad and Tobago. Go to La Perouse Cemetery and you will see they're digging up graves and discarding coffins. Go and see where your loved ones' bodies are. I didn't do it. I'm telling you, go and see, but you have time to call and attack me. To the caller who called about the 10-year schools, he heard the solution when I raised the education, when I raised the issue about the education. So I want him to go back and listen to everything I say, because I make it a point when I raise a problem to also say the solution. We have a website, www.21policies.com. And I want him to go and visit that website. When he said he doesn't understand how it would work, I want him to know that the 3 best performing schools in Trinidad, bar none, not the prestige schools, not Holy Name, not St. Joseph, not Presentation, the 3 best schools in Trinidad and Tobago right now are the International School, Maple Leaf, and Arbor. All 3 are 10-year schools, and all of those 10-year schools, their children go on to proper lives, tertiary education, advancement, and otherwise.
All right.
Our education.
We have a caller from San Fernando. Good morning, caller.
Sorry to have to call back. I have to ask Mr. Alexander one question. Mr. Alexander, I want to hear, because I'm hearing all the things that you're saying, and I know some of the things, but I would like you to talk about, because this is a local government election, and I would like you to talk about this local government reform issue, and what are your plans for the local government? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alexander.
Local government as a system has failed. It does not work. A progressive empowerment party government would deliver because Philip Alexander and his team delivers without being in government. We don't need government funding to fix roads and to put water in your tap. When Mr. Gale from Andalusia got fed up of calling people who weren't taking him on, he called Philip Alexander and the poll is gone. What the Progressive Empowerment Party advocates, and if we get into government with a special majority to fix it, is to repeal the Municipal Corporations Act, to repeal the Regional Health Authority Act, to shut down the way the 10 police divisions are operated right now, and replace all of that with something we call a constituency board of supervisors. Each constituency, right now we have 6 RHAs, 14 corporations, 10 police divisions, 41 constituencies, no seamless communication. Under the People's Partnership, 5 people had responsibility for cleaning drains and nobody cleaned the drains. With a constituency board of supervisors, would have 5 supervisors in each of the 41 constituencies, answerable to the people who live in each of those 41 constituencies. A supervisor of public works, public utilities, education, healthcare, and national security. It would be funded at budget time so that you know what your constituency have in the bank for the next 12 months to fix roads and bridges and drains and schools and to put police.
Mr. Alexander, sorry, we have a caller from Cascade. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, but I can't keep interrupting the answers to say I have another caller because then people not want to hear what it is you want them to hear. I'm just saying, I just suggest.
I know. But
good morning, gentlemen.
We have to take a call too. Morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen, and good morning to Philip. Philip, you couldn't get better advertising anywhere else than you got here this morning. And certainly it's a forum where people are asking you the soft questions, massaging your ego, but also asking you the hard questions. Let me ask you something. One caller this morning talked about your attitude, i.e., your disposition, i.e., the way you communicate. And I well understand that particular challenge that you have, because sometimes I am given to as it were, responding harshly to some people. I remember once campaigning in the last local government election, a lady met me and she said, Mr. Lee Singh, we love you and we will vote for you. But tell me, why is you always shouting? Since then, I have stopped shouting. I leave that particular point there with you this morning. Now, I'm not going to ask you about the roundabout in Westmoreland. I'm not going to ask you about the fact that people are questioning where you're getting your approvals. These are not matters that concern me. What concerns me more than anything else is why is it you go to bed with some people and before you wake up in the morning you're leaving them for it? Should I ask it cleaner than that, or do you understand the question?
You can hear me?
Go ahead.
You hearing my response?
Yes, I'm hearing it.
I want to say to you, you could actually call names. Let us have this conversation. I want to tell the callers before you say another word. Louis Lise is one of the people that is responsible for my venturing into politics. Because I told myself, if a man of the caliber of Louis Lise could put aside his life and time for this country, I could too. And you are the call to action that made me respond. I want you to know that. I want to be very clear about that. Yes, I want you to call names about people that you say that I go to bed with, that I wake up and can't work with. I want to talk about that. I also want to address the issue about how I come across. Louis, I want to say that it is how I came across with the fire service that have them trying to fix the fire service. It's how I came across with the barrier divers that have them doing a commission of inquiry. How I came across with Andrea Barrett, have made 128,500 people sign. That person who told you, Louis Lise, stop shouting, then you and Trinidad are the service. Because since you stopped shouting, you've gone silent. And we need soldiers and generals like you on the front line. Our country is being stolen in front of our eyes. You tell me you're not going to ask me about the $2 billion roundabout that's going to kill people? We need to talk about that. If I didn't go and do a video by that roundabout 2 weeks ago and tell people this nonsense, they build here going to flood. 7 days later, it flood. So then and Sammy had to come and rip up everything they built. Telling Rampasad from UNC that they always intended to come back and pave. He lied, because if they had paved, they would have covered the drain lines with pitch. So they had to redo it, and I was absolutely correct. Am I getting the media time to sit down and talk gently? Look how lovely I spoke with the guy on CNC3 after nomination day. That went viral, yes. But people want to hear somebody speaking truth to power in this country. And Louis, people like you, myself, Bernard de Lima, we were the people that gave people hope that there were people who were willing to stand up and speak against it and not just join up and link up and look for a post.
Still there, caller? Or we lost call?
I'm not hearing him.
All right, cool. All right, thank you.
Sorry, Ethan?
Yes?
Hello?
Yes.
Is there any other further questions, caller?
Yes, I just want to say to Philip that I hear what he is saying. I hear about his shock motives. But I feel, and I'm not asking you to change the methodology or the format during the local campaign, because you have to campaign. And none of us who have ever campaigned know what it is. All those of us who have truly campaigned understand, particularly if you're leading, that sometimes you really have to shout. But I'm asking you, for the sake of sustainability, for the sake of continuity, because there is going to be a Philip Alexander in the politics after the local government campaign. And I wish you well, because I think we need to begin to show Trinidad and Tobago the possibilities and opportunities in change. And whether people like the red man or they don't like him, you are offering possibilities and opportunities for change. But let us see if we could reformat going down the road beyond the local government campaign.
Thank you very much.
That's all I ask on behalf of we the people.
All right, caller, thank you very much. Folks, we just have about 8 more minutes before we have to close. We do have the 149 that's working. In instances such as this morning. Yes, Mr. Alexander.
I want to say, and I hope Louis is listening, there are few people who could speak that way to guide me, who I respect. Louis Lise is one of them. I want to hear me say this morning that I am available to him, to meet with him, to speak on these issues with him, and to find a way forward, because I believe he is surrounded by some very good people. Steve Alvarez, the next man I respect, Timothy Hammersmith, the next man I respect. And I think that it is time for all of us who have carved our own ways to come together and unite as a force of power to break the madness of race voting and the corruption that has destroyed this country. I am open to that meeting.
All right, we have a caller on the line with us from St. James. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I enjoying the program. Welcome back, Keaton. It's good to see like the program balance now.
Thank you.
You know, it's have a nice balance to the both of you all.
It was off balance before.
Mr. Alexander, great program, and I always look at you. And I'm interested in anything to make a change in this country. I'm voting for over 40 years now. And aware of all the trends and things a lot of young people are unaware of and all of that. And I say to keep up the good work. And I just called to just comment here. And I'm willing to make a change. I'm willing to vote if I could, if a change could come. And don't worry too much about how we talk, because some of us trainees, you know, we trainee, yes, we had this kind of colonial way about we in the background, even though the Union Jack gone a long time now. But when you look at what the talk on the platform, the talk in the news every day, the kind of bacchanal kind of atmosphere we continuously have from the present regime, I think that you are looking pretty good. So don't worry if a handful of people tell you how you're singing. You're singing damn good. Keep up the work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, my friend. And I want to say, Keaton, if I could say something to that.
Of course.
We have a very strong candidate in St. James. I want the caller to know her name is Indira Singh Awai. She's grown up in St. James. She raised her daughter in St. James. They lived in St. James. They know Western Main Road as their home. And I know Indira and her family for a large part of their lives. And I want to recommend that if he could send me his number to my phone number, 682-2110, I'll pass it on to Indira. And I want to thank him. I want to thank him for what he himself said. And what he spoke about there is true, that if I were to show up tomorrow in a suit with a pocket square and talking with a convent girl accent, I'll be doing a disservice. I am not in this trying to get a job. I want Trinidad to hire me to fix it. I want them to hear me say these words.
Yeah.
That tone that they hear, that I will take with me into the parliament and fix everything. We will end the nonsense of the banking cartel that Time magazine called predators in paradise. We will end the nonsense of a customs and excise that could find your children camouflage drawers and panty, but can't find the 40,000 guns that came into the country illegally. We have a Coast Guard that park up down in Hartscott and Chagaramas that is lined with people down the islands, but nobody securing the borders. A progressive empowerment party government will break the narco traffickers that enjoy a traffic economy through this country bigger than the 6.
Well,
all right, okay, listen, I think Mr. Alexander is frozen. We're going to try and get him back. This is our final call for the morning. Caller from Gasparilla. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you all again. I am 65 years old. I have called quite a few times. You see this Mr. Alexander? He's a great man for this show. And I uphold all that he's saying. I have lived here too long and have seen the red and yellow. It's about time we have change. I congratulate you, Mr. Alexander, and I will vote for you and your party any day. Congratulations and continue the good work, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you very much. Mr. Alexander, just before we go, I'm going to ask you one final question. How, the biggest issue is getting people to come out and vote. People do feel disgruntled. People feel besieged because of crime. Getting people to actually come out and vote on election day is a huge challenge for any political party. How do you expect to try and resolve that?
Keaton, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
I know you personally through your family. And I need to refer to that in something I am going to say, but I can't say it until you give me permission.
No, go on, I'm listening.
to the people looking at this show, Keaton's aunt Tara and myself worked with the homeless, the disabled, the orphans, the evicted, the squatters, the cerebral palsy children. Keaton's aunt Tara and myself worked through an organization we have called the Jericho Project, and we've helped thousands of people. We went to Valencia and helped the squatters when the government wouldn't and the opposition didn't. We went and helped them get some.
Ms. Alexander, are you still with us? All right, it's okay. Unfortunately, I think we've. All right, Mr. Alexander, you can. We have not much time.
We have an internet difficulty. We have an internet difficulty, but Keaton, I want to say quickly that our idea is to motivate based on the reputation that I have for decades of helping people. I think that tens of thousands of people that are fed up of the government and opposition not responding to them, knowing that I will and that I do, I'm counting on them to come out and vote.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we're out of time. Thank you very much for joining me this morning and joining my co-host and I, Sean, on Talking Point. Yes, I must admit, I've gotten so used to this solo show that at times it slips. Mr. Alexander, wishing you all the very best in your campaign, in your party's campaign.
Keaton, one more thing, please.
Sure.
One more thing. As I have a little bit of internet, I want the people to hear, all the good people, your Aunt Tara, Louis Lee Singh. I want them to hear Vernon de Lima. I want them to hear those people that have been silently on the sidelines, working so hard to help so many people. They endorse me and they willing to work with me. And I want them to hear that so that they know that Philip Alexander is not a one-man show. That if I get into government, the biggest, the best, and the brightest will be in that parliament and in those ministries serving them. Thank you very much, you and Sean. Sean worked very hard to get me on this show, and I want to tell him thank you very much. I want both of you to have a lovely day. Thank you to all your viewers and your listeners. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander.
To have a great day. Sean, that's it for this edition. Glad to be back on. What a way to actually start back.
Yeah, that was a good first episode after your hiatus. But I just want to tell all of our viewers, back to the first caller, that I understand all politicians, government, opposition, and now Philip Edward Alexander, who is not in Parliament, at least not yet, they will make claims, they will say things, and unfortunately, for better or worse, it's left up to us to try to sort it out, to use our judgment based on the circumstances, based on who endorses them, what they're speaking about. Because they're all going to make claims, you know. They're all going to make claims, and it really comes down to who are you willing to believe.
Well, I'll be very honest with you. You can think whatever you want of Mr. Alexander. You can say what you want of Mr. Alexander, and you have every right to do so, just as you have every right to do so with every single politician here in TNT, or every single individual that calls themselves a politician. That's absolutely fine. You have that privilege and authority. However, if it's one thing that we can have a very strong debate on this morning, arguably, Mr. Alexander talks the talk. Throw anything you want at him, and he has a response. Whether or not you accept it or not, I will say, at least the man presented his ideas, his solutions, which is not what I have seen on the campaign trail thus far from many other politicians. However, that's all the time that we have for Talking Point. I'm Keaton Shaw, Sean Michael Small. I'll give you the privilege to wrap up since you've been doing it for the last 2 weeks.
Folks, have a good day. Be safe. And make TNT great starting from today. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
WESN.
I'm Andy Johnson, and you're watching WESN, the content capital.